For years, one of the most powerful stories in our Cruel Consequences portrait collection has been hidden behind a changed name and a face in shadow. Michael, a veteran, was criminalized for bringing legally purchased cannabis into Virginia to treat symptoms from his kidney transplant. His story has been shared, but never fully, never openly, because of his fear. But things have changed today. Michael is ready. He feels safe with his employer and is supported by his doctors, no longer defined by shame. For the first time, Michael is revealing his real identity, his real face, and what has happened since his charge. The story you thought you knew is about to change, a powerful sign of stigma breaking. Meet James.
Hi, my name is Michael Schofield. That's not my name. My name is James Brantley, and I am a cannabis felon. I hid my name because I was afraid of persecution from employment, federal employment, and also just persecution from the common persecution of being considered a felon with cannabis.
Hey, so Michael, James, right? So
Yes,
now,
you're right.
so it's just so good to be able to talk to you, and for people to just be able to see your face now because you were one of our, so with Cruel Consequences, you were the third portrait that we put together in the series, and I remember we were not able to show your face, and I remember because of what you were in fear of your identity, showing your identity,
Yep, I
right?
did a lose employment. Very
And
true. Losing employment and just a whole lot of other that would have came with at the time. But now that I'm at a point in my life where um it's whatever happens, like we're so close to the finish line here with things in Virginia. The story being out there did more than a name. And I chose the name Michael Schofield because that was a character in a movie or the TV show Prison Break, if anybody's familiar. And I chose Michael Schofield because my mom would have named me Michael, but my dad wouldn't have it. And he's like, nah, I got to name you James. Um, Even though I have an older brother named James too, which is a whole nother conversation. But he was so I gravitated to that name because he was determined to get his brother out of a bad situation or just determined to use his plan to get out of a bad situation. And I felt like that my determination and my plan and my story would eventually help me and others get out of bad situations. Um, and especially situations that were kind of set up from the beginning, if that makes sense. I'm not just trying to like frame it as, but it's been framed as a bad thing. And I just feel like the story without the name went way further than the name would ever do. And
yeah.
now that it has been, I don't know how many years.
So now it's been, well, 2018. It would, you shared it in
19,
2018,
20, 21,
19. So there you go. Yep, yep. So like
7 years.
7 years.
So hey,
It's
yeah,
going on seven
7
now.
years. So
7 years.
yeah. That
But that's,
God's
yeah,
favorite
and
number. So
okay. But I mean,
yeah.
it has, and you're absolutely right about that. Your story has really gone far, and people reflect on that, and
Hmm.
it was just so wonderful that you could share it without doing that. But now that everybody knows that you are James and not
Yeah.
Michael, right? How does this feel now?
Yes. Uh, I thought it was gonna be frightening, but I feel relieved. I feel ready, and for whatever may come with this, I'm prepared. Am I prepared like I think I will be prepared? Probably not, because you could never be prepared for everything. You could just be prepared enough to be ready. So I'm ready for whatever this might bring, and I'm so excited about this new changing landscape that we have here in Virginia. I'm just like, you don't understand how excited I am. And
Talk to me
thank you
about it.
again for the what
What are
am I
you
excited
excited
about?
about? Yeah, what are you
Well,
excited about?
I'm excited about the retail market coming online. Um And I'm excited about that because now it allows people to get into the business, and not just people who have stacked money to the side or have other wealthy businesses and just want to jump into this because they think it's a way to make even more money, which it is, it's lucrative. But I also wanted to be for the people who were affected. I'm excited for the people who were affected. Like I can't wait to just go in to somebody's shop or walk into somebody's farm or somebody who has a processing facility or a testing facility and just be like, and they tell me their story, like, you know what, I was a felon, and because of this inclusion, I was able to get into the business and not be excluded. And really that's my excitement, and my excitement for minorities, my excitement just for people who have been torn down by the laws. So let's come on in, get everything straight. We laid the groundwork. We fought the good fight. We played the politics. Now it's time to, I guess, put the work in, and that's what I'm excited about. African American, from the inner city. I joined the United States military. I graduated from college. Did all things correctly, except I ended up with kidney failure. Not by my choice, by my choice. Still don't know the reason why. They just chalked it up to stress and extreme working conditions from my time in the service.
Right.
So I just believe that the time then wasn't the time it is now. The time now is to step up and say, hey, this is what it looks like. This is what people look like. And this is the effects of, misguided laws, cannabis laws. So
Thank you. So I do want to say thank you because you were willing to tell your story even though you had those fears and that stigma. And there
mm-hmm.
are and there are countless people who have been affected by your story. I hope that you do know that. I'm actually holding
Yes.
I'm holding my book that has your portrait in it, and if we can kind of let's see.
Zoom in,
Show it here.
focus in a
Yeah,
little
there we
bit. Yeah.
focus here, right? Yeah, but yeah,
Yes.
okay, there we go. Right, there we go. So we have you in shadow, right? And then we have you turned
Yep.
away and you're sitting on the
Yep.
beach. And I remember, and this is from this book, The Human Cost of Marijuana Prohibition. So, and
Correct.
I remember talking to you and saying, like I really your story will really change minds, and it's very compelling, and I'm indebted for you sharing your story, because it was really a testament to really the stigma and what how it changes people's lives, right? So I
Yes.
do want to say thank you. I can't say that enough. But
No,
what
you're
does it
welcome.
feel?
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Because for taking the time to actually go and look at people and not just, and how the law affected people and the continuating circumstances that the law puts people in. If it wasn't for you, there wouldn't really be as much light being shown here, what I'm saying, in this area. So thank you very much.
Me, I guess I don't know what to say, but and
Well, you better
it's
get used
just
to it because your book, your stories are going to go all around the world. People are going to be thanking you for a long time. So let me be the first to say it, so you can get your practice in. Thank you.
and yeah. Awesome. So I just I set out because I'm a patient, and we have a lot of similarities, the two of us,
hmm
because of your with the medical and that, and I just kind of felt like, where are these voices, right? And I
Yeah,
wanted the
yeah,
voices to come out, and it I think people needed to see a picture of somebody, rather than a
hmm
mugshot, right? Because
yeah, yeah.
without a picture, they imaginations run wild, right? So,
All the
and
time.
your photo, your portrait, it was so beautiful because we were able to capture that without revealing your identity at the time. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you've now had a kidney transplant since, right? How did that go?
yeah.
Tell us.
A second transplant. It makes 4 years in this past February. It's from a deceased donor. My first one was in 2007, and that was from my sister. So she was kind enough and loving enough to give her little brother a kidney, and which happened to save my life at the time. And it lasted 13 and a half years. So we beat the living donor, I guess, time length on that. But then something called COVID-19 happened. And apparently the worst thing I had to worry about before was the flu. And then COVID came and it just took out the kidney. It didn't necessarily affect any other thing in me. It just kind of like took the kidney out. You're done. It's over with. And I think that's because that was the weakest part of my body and the hardest place for. I don't have an immune system because I take immunosuppressive medication. So I think that was just the easiest place for it to go. I was on dialysis again for the second time. This time was a little longer, probably about almost 2 years. And then I got a call one day, normal Thursday. I've got these calls before about, come up, get tested. Might have a match for you, but it never goes. Well, it didn't go my way those few times, which I'm okay with. And then this time I got a call and it was just me and another young man. And I'm thinking like, here we go again. I'm just going to get tested and we'll see. And because I've already had one kidney transplant, my matching for a second one isn't just blood. They got a tissue type, do a whole bunch of it's a little more intense. But the transplant went well. It took a kidney about 2 months to actually wake up, because it was dormant. It was so I still was on dialysis 2 months after receiving the kidney transplant. I was in the hospital 4 months longer than I should have been. I had blood clots because just something that comes after surgery. My whole right side was thinking it was afraid of getting in bloodstreams and lungs, but they were able to get it out and take care of that. But then the kidney woke up. The medications were working and everything has been great. So I just had to check up yesterday. My nephrologist said, keep it steady. You'll probably outlive this one too. So
wow,
I'm like, yay,
that's
let's go.
Yeah. Great. That's great news. We're so great. We're so glad that you're living healthy and, and on the mend. And so wait, when was that you had that second kidney? The date again?
When did you second kidney transplant was February 20th, 21. February 20th,
okay.
21. Yep.
Okay, very good. Wow. Yeah. So
2021.
Nice.
It happened in 2015, and the stigma that I faced was job persecution. I eventually ended up losing my security clearance. It was stigma, and it was painful, and it was embarrassing. And then I didn't even know that after the fact, all the other things that you can't get, like housing financing or schooling, and it's like 400,000 extenuating laws that felons have, and I was like, what? Like financial aid, and it was just things that I didn't know, and which made me furious because I'm like, there's no way you acting like I murdered someone. You acting like I took someone off this earth, which didn't even happen.
Yeah. I mean, your story was like, you a veteran and you're just trying to take care of yourself, and and what I noticed, and, and me, I look at all of the stories in Cruel Consequences. What I noticed about the veterans, you all made different choices that others didn't make. You tried to make very careful choices, right? So so you tried to, you were trying to get, medical quality, products, and you couldn't get that
without going to the street. Yeah, without going to the street. Like I almost lost my life. Almost lost my life trying to get, what I'm saying? So that in itself was the window that went off in my head. I'm like, I'm coming to give you money, but you know what I'm saying? Like, but I get it. I understand. Like, this is where you say people imaginations run wild. This is why the legal market is good. It's because it saves people the back alley transactions. You know what I'm saying? Like, it saves it all that. And it's funny because I was asked like, hey, well, what did you do after everything happened? And I was like, I continued to do what I was told to do. I was told by my lawyer and my probation officer, hey, continue with your life. Doesn't do everything you normally would do. And I did. And then, they were like, oh no, we need the security clearance back from you, sir. So, but hey, being afraid um doesn't do anything but bring shame, because that's the shame that you live in. You're living in shame. And once I was able to get out of my shame and be like hiding it or doing it, whatever, like I take urine tests. All my doctors know. We all have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? So it's like just yesterday, continue doing what you do, Mr. Brantley. Everything's
Yeah.
looking good.
I love it.
It's just
So
continue doing,
it's like wink, wink.
yeah,
Yeah, keep doing what
wink,
you're
wink.
doing.
Continue what you're doing, Mr.
You're
Brantley. You know
doing
what I'm saying? And we're
good.
we're good, and you'll probably outlive this kidney too. So I'm like, yeah,
Love
okay,
it.
cool. I got you, doc. We're already. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny because I was just telling the
Yeah.
nurse I've retired 4 doctors already. Like I've
Oh,
been at this facility so long that I've seen 4 doctors retire,
wow.
and it's
Yeah,
like,
that's awesome. But I mean, that sounds
yeah,
great.
that's
I
awesome.
mean, because that feels good when you've got them, people on your side, like pulling for you there, right? Because if they're
Yeah.
against
Yeah,
you,
because
yeah,
it's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother world there against you, but they're not, because they know themselves that it's not harmful, it's helpful, and that it has benefits that the legal market is going to allow us to explore even more, because now we can have legitimate testing, we can have legitimate, like things, and thank God for this AI, because now we can get all these little multi-sensings and sequencings and all the things that we could get it pinpoint, where it could be for MS, it could be for kidney dysfunction, it could be for high blood pressure, it could be whatever you might, anxiety, depression, whatever you might need it for, like nausea, vomiting, all the icks of things that come with medicines that you gotta take. It will be able to think, and then I believe that certain medicines will be moved away, and then that would just be the only thing that you take. But that's only going to come from once they get everything federally regulated and the banking system gets taken care of. It's a slow fight, but being the
baby
first state in
steps, right? We
baby
got
baby steps,
baby steps.
but baby steps. But the good thing is that we're the first state in the South to recreational decrim, and now you know what I'm saying, come through with full regulatory markets. And I think this is going to send a signal to further southern states who have extremely prejudiced cannabis laws.
Yes. Yeah.
Alabama and Mississippi and, or Memphis and all the places like that. It's just like, whoa, what are you doing down there?
Yeah.
But I just feel like once the Virginia, the top of the South, kind of gets it squared away, we got a lot of politics here, with Northern Virginia, and then, everything's so close, and DC being right there. But I feel like once they have that together, everything's going to flow. Everything's going to work. I don't know what they're afraid of, but I'm not that smart, so I can't. I can't.
People watching this, um,
Yes.
remember one thing from your story, past or present. What would you like it to be that they remember from you?
I want them to remember that this is the face of misguided cannabis laws. At the time, I was 30, like 30 years old. I'm a retired veteran. I'm 100% retired veteran. I'm a college graduate. I did everything that you would think someone from an inner city wouldn't do, and I've done it. I've traveled the world, did everything, but I still ended up in this predicament that technically a lot of people like me were set up in the beginning to fail, and I didn't. But because I ended up with a disease that I didn't ask for, I didn't choose. No one chooses to have these diseases that we have, but I have to deal with it. And how I was dealing with it cost me substantially. And I hope that the past doesn't affect my future like it has been doing for the last 10 years. And I pray that with you and the new environment that we're in, that maybe it would take me to places that I never thought I would be. And then me and you could sit down somewhere and be like, Dang, James, Mike, you ever thought we'll be this far with this? And I'm gonna look at you and be like, Tamara, nah, I never thought we'll be here. Like
I hope we're
I
right.
never thought we would be this far. I know you are.
I'll
That's why I
take
told you
you.
get used to the congratulations now because it's gonna happen. Get used to the
Uh,
congratulations because you are a key force in what's happening here.
so
You are.
I hope for that day. I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and let's let's uh let's go ahead and put that down in writing there. You know, what the day that
Yep.
we're gonna look back one day, you and I, and we're gonna have that conversation. I look forward to that
Yeah.
a
It's
lot.
going to be beautiful, and like this conversation right now is beautiful because it's been in the making, and I've been waiting for it to come back. Like, and just update. Like, I do have a federal job now. I had to go through a re-investigation for my background because of my background.
Okay.
And like I said, the lady, my investigator told me, hey, Mr. Brantley, I understand. Like she told me, continue working, continue doing your job, and then whatever happens, happens. That's why I'm okay with coming out now
I
and
get
talking
it.
because
Okay.
whatever happens, happens. Because this might lead me to like I said, a industry job in the industry.
Right.
Like you,
Right.
Cruel Consequences was kind enough to put me through a full business class on the
That's
cannabis
right.
business,
We
and
did
I
do
am
that, right?
you
Yes, we
and
did.
I
I
yeah, you did
had
do it.
almost
You
forgotten
did
that.
do it.
We had given you a
You know,
scholarship, right? Yeah.
gave me a
So
scholarship. Yes,
that's
and I
right.
aced the course, and I had the
Awesome.
one-on-one with Paul, and we did great. And I got a whole business plan set up. It's just been,
Nice.
you know, uh, time trying to financially get everything in line because
Hmm.
I know that there's going to be some things that needs to happen. But maybe if I lose my government job or federal job, they'd be like, hey, we don't need you working here no more because of this. All right, cool. Then I'll end up with the lounge or I'll end up with some type of business that I will be happy with, and I know that the people I'm working with wouldn't care about a record. They wouldn't care about any
Yeah.
of this because when,
Well, let me
when
ask
you're
you
a good
this.
person, you're a good person.
Let me ask you this then. So
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I love your attitude, and it's just like,
Hmm.
do you think, I mean, do you have, okay, of course we regret things that happened in our life, but I
Hmm.
mean, things are turning out. Are you like, I'd say to myself, I'm like, I don't regret it because then I wouldn't be the person I am now, right? So is there anything I
Yeah.
mean, do you feel like that, or is that kind of a,
Uh,
like, I don't want to put words in your mouth,
no,
but like, how do,
no,
it
no, no.
sounds like you feel that way.
I'm, I'm gonna give you a reference to a rap artist, Jay-Z. Everybody knows Jay-Z,
Okay.
but he had a song called "Regrets," and the hook basically said I had to learn to live with no regrets. And as a youth, that always been my thing. Like I don't live with regrets. I live once. We live once. And when you start having life-threatening issues that happen through you in life, where your life could have ended, whether it be a car accident, whether it be a fall down the stairs, a slip in the shower, choking on a piece of bread, um, being arrested, any of those things where your life could be in jeopardy, then you realize how quickly and how valuable life becomes. And I learned that as a young man, and partially because of that song, just learning to live with no regrets. And that's what I would say. Yes, I have an attitude of no regrets. I have an attitude of I don't feel like I made any mistakes, but mistakes have been made just because of how it's structured. But I just look at it like, hey, que sera, sera. We all gonna live once. We all gonna die once. And I haven't met one person personally haven't met one person that has come back. You feel me? Like, so that's
Right.
just how I view it.
I
I
love
haven't
it.
personally met
That's
one person. I mean,
beautiful.
I know Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
right.
Jesus personally, but I'm saying, I'm talking about I haven't seen him yet.
Right.
So I don't know anybody
I got
that
you.
personally who's gone and came back.
Yeah, I love it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Now it's James. I'm gonna have to get used to calling you James, James, James. And now everywhere, Michael is, we're now going to put James. So I'm so, so happy. And I'm
Yeah.
so happy that, we had this moment, and
Yeah.
looking for more to come. So thank you so much for
Oh,
coming.
more. Yeah. You're very welcome, and there's more to come. And I think Michael is so influential. We might just have to hyphenate it, like James Michael or Michael James,
James Michael. We'll
just to
figure
keep it,
something
just to
out.
keep it. Yeah, James. Like we have to figure it out. Whatever you, however you figure it out. But I think just
AKA, you know, or something, or like.
AK, yeah. But
All right.
I really want to thank you for allowing me to tell my story, giving me a platform to tell my story, giving me a chance to just to be a voice, an individual, and not just a number or a stigma or a what they call what's the other word I'm looking
A
for? It starts with
statistic.
S.
A statistic.
Statistic and
Yeah.
yeah, or a stereotype. Just to I wanted to thank you for allowing me to be able to
Of
do
course.
that
That's
and be able to
exactly.
tell me in a way tell it in a way where it was conveyed. And I like I said, I don't know personally how many people my story has affected. And maybe I'm at one of your book signings and the people come up to me and like, oh Michael, I loved your story. It really made me. That'd be great. That'd be the first time it hit me. But I know that it was just from having the book and just seeing it, I knew that it was going to do what it was supposed to do.
I
And
love it.
I just wanted to wait and just see. And like I said, we're not done yet. We're going to be sitting somewhere
No, that's right.
7 years from now, and we're
That's
going to be
right.
like, yo,
I cannot
you're the
wait.
reason that
No, you know,
the laws changed all over the country.
so you know, we're gonna have that though. Like you just made me think. Like we need to have that when I have a book signing next. I need to have you there, and you know, and let people know. And
Yeah,
then you know, and you do need to hear that. You need because you've missed out on that. You've missed out on hey, you know, people actually
yeah,
saying I saw your story. That was you. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
now
yeah.
you get to hear that. So I can't wait. Thanks again.
You,
All right.
you know,
Good.
I was so amazed when I seen the my picture, the portrait in the Grow Depot.
Oh yes,
I
that's
was
right.
amazed. I
That's
walked
right.
in. Hold on, I walked out, but I was surprised because you didn't tell me and I didn't know. So I walked in there just to buy some regular grow products, some stuff for my plants. And I walked in there and I was with my friend and I walked and because you can't see my face. And I walked in and I seen it and I tapped my friend. I'm like, hey, look. And he looked up on the wall. He was like, I was like, that's me. And he was like, that's you. And then when the Kyle heard me say it, he was like, that's you? And I was like, yeah, I'm Michael. He's like, oh my God, I love your stuff. Matter of fact, I had one person told me. He told me first. But it
Good.
wasn't in the impact for it was more of a shocking, like, I can't believe you're here. And that's you. And I know her. I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yep.
I did
Yep.
that. That's my story. But
That was
that
great.
was the most beautiful thing I've seen. That's when I knew we were going to take this somewhere else. And I was just waiting. And
Awesome.
I'm still waiting. Like,
Amazing.
so
I can't
thank
wait
you.
for you to hear that. And
Thank you.
now you can watch online. People watching online, please shout out to James now. You know, give him some love.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right, man. Thank you so
I'll say
much.
hi back, guys.